friends. This is Alia Jamal, the Heart Mentor. Let me just let someone. Okay. Thank you so much, Susan, for joining us live. So wonderful to have you here. So I'm gonna jump in, and then at the end we'll have a conversation, whatever questions you have. So today we are talking about in our weekly workshop series how to feel safe while expanding. Now, what is expansion to you? First, we are going to talk about it and why it's important to feel safe during that expansion. So, expansion could be a life change that you're naturally going through, ending of a relationship, ending of a career, losing a loved one, or it could be an intentional change. You already know that you want your life to be different. You want something more out of your life. Maybe you want to leave your 9 to 5 and you want to start a business. Maybe you want to leave the relationship because you have realized it's not good. It's very intentional now. You're coming out of it, or it's intentional. You're starting a new relationship. So, wherever you are in that change, you can keep that in front of you, and we'll talk about how to feel safe as you're going through that transition. Now, one of the biggest reason people stay stuck, it's they don't want change. Even if they're saying I want change, for example, let's say I want to live in a different home and then from past 10 years I'm in the same home, deep down unconsciously I don't really want a new home because that is a lot of change. There's moving, there's all the work that comes with it. There's a part of me that feels very cozy and comfortable where I am. And if we are not honest with ourselves, if we are not digging deeper into what is that, what is going on underneath the surface, then we stay stuck and we keep feeling my life feels so bland and I want something different, but I don't know how to make it happen. So let's understand why is it so. There's a part of our unconscious mind, it does not want you to change. That is also the part of you that when you were really, really young, it made a decision to live in a box, to either be loved, to be accepted, or to be physically or emotionally safe. And that part of you is not going anywhere, whether you turn 100, whether you're 50, whether you have built so many businesses, that part of you doesn't matter how successful you think of yourself, that part always stays there. Whenever you go to the next ladder of change, that part get activated. And that is what stops people. That is what kept me stuck 5 years in a very, very difficult and toxic, unhealthy situation because I couldn't break out of that part. So, recognizing whatever change that you desire or you're going through naturally because of the rhythm of life, there is a part of you that does not want that change. That part of you wants you to stay small, it wants you to keep living the way you're living. The price of staying where you are right now, eventually you start to feel anxious and depressed because there's so much light within us that wants to come out. I think of ourselves as a rolling red carpet. You're a roll and you're unrolling. You are revealing yourself as you're moving from one year to the other. And if that revelation process stops because you're in the same job with the same title, in the same relationship, with the same routine, with the same home, with the same people, with the same conversations, eventually you start to feel suffocated and you don't know why you're feeling suffocated because nothing of new is being born through you. So remember, whatever you're going through, there's a part of you that doesn't want you to change. Now let's get into why is it important to change. We got into a little bit. I have my notes here and I have a lot of stuff here. First, we are just going through what change is really all about. Um, if you want fulfillment in your life, and I know fulfillment is beyond survival mode. There's a lot of us who are just stuck in survival and we have no idea what fulfillment is. We look at, I have roof over my head, I have food in my fridge, I'm healthy, my kids are healthy, I'm good. And especially if you're an immigrant, you just stop there. But fulfillment is an experience that comes from your soul. And when you're stuck in survival, it still lives there. It still wants to be felt or experienced. And fulfillment only comes when we let ourselves expand beyond what we were told to be. So, talking to all the women out there, um, for me, that was the biggest thing that led me to change my life completely. There was a deeper part of me that wanted something different. And then there was a part of me that didn't want it any change. And they both were fighting. And what the part wanted was fulfillment out of life. It wanted to contribute its light into the world. And that is what expansion was all about. Yes, it was painful. Yeah, it was there was a lot of drama involved in it. There was a lot of pain involved in it, but it was taking me towards fulfillment where I could feel I'm walking in the path of my soul. So whatever change you're going through, what's really pushing you towards that change is that desire to feel that level of fulfillment. And it does not come from having a kid. It does not come from getting married. It does not come from getting the biggest bonus of your life or just, crossing a million in your business. It doesn't come from any of that. It purely comes from when you let yourself be who you came here to be. And that is the quest for us to discover for rest of our life, because who my soul wanted to be at 30 is going to be different what it want to be at 40 and 50 and 60 and 70. It's always changing. It also connects us to ultimate joy. Now, if you come from a background where it was not really good to be too happy. Still, sometime when I'm giggly and I'm laughing, my mom voice comes to my mind where it's like, no, don't laugh too much. Bad things will happen, right? If you come from that background, you stay away from joy. You laugh a little bit or you hide your joy and you don't really connect with it like a kid. But again, that is the deep desire of our own body, of our nervous system to connect with joy to that deeper level. Another thing, um, expansion or change connects us to the womb of possibility. It connects us to the dimension of unknown. You have no idea who you're going to become a year from today. No matter how many astrologists you go to, no matter how many medium you talk to, no matter how many healers and sages you have visited, no one can guarantee what you will be doing a year from today. That is completely unknown. Only you can find out when you're present in your life. Otherwise, the next year will come and you won't even have any idea who you became and who you didn't become. That deep, deep desire within you wanted to become. And that is why it's really important to go through change. Now let's talk about the real topic. Why any kind of expansion, whether it's deliberate or universe just, threw a coconut in your head, why it becomes so difficult. Every expansion, every change, it challenges one fear within you, and that is fear of the unknown. And what happens when the fear of the unknown comes up? I have no idea who I'll become as a divorced person. I don't know who I'll become as a mom. And then it was, I don't know who I'll become as a person who remarries again. I have no idea who I'll become as a business owner. That's a lot of, I don't know who I'll become. So the part of us that wants to know and control starts having a tantrum, and it starts to slow us down. It's almost like, that um like having that gum stuck to your shoe. No matter what you do, it's not gonna go away, and then you might have to sit there and literally scrape it off, and then there still would be there. That's how the fear of the unknown clings to you, and that is what stops you. There are many other factors that I'm not going to talk about. There could be shame, there could be guilt, there could be, self-judgment. We are just going to focus on fear of the unknown because that is what really makes you feel unsafe. Other parts, we can have party with ourselves all day long with our self-pity party, but it doesn't really stop you the way this fear stops you when you are living in that unknown, and it stops you and you stop doing anything about your life. So now let's look at it. One of the um, one of the main thing that happen when we go into the fear of the unknown, there's a very specific story that starts to play in your head. I don't know what will happen. Will I be able to make it financially? Will my health would be okay? Will I be able to do it all by myself? There's a lot of stories that starts to come. And those are all the ways it wants you to stop. But that fear is also the doorway to the endless part of you. That's why you might have heard, like, walk through the fear and every good thing on the other side of the fear. What is that good thing? It's your soul, it's the endless part of you. Fear comes from the stored trauma in our body, what we have seen, what we have heard, what we have experienced ourselves. If you went through a very difficult relationship and you were betrayed, you were cheated on, or you were abused, that fear lives in your cells, it lives in your tissues. So when you go to having another relationship, your body is going to stop you. Your body is going to start shaking. You're going to start having a panic attack. But if you can ride the wave, who you will meet, you'll meet the version of you that doesn't carry that fear. That is your soul. That is a part of you that is beyond body. And that is literally the cycle I have gone through so many times. The first time I went through it, of course, it was the divorce. And I'll share with you what are the techniques I have used and I share with my clients they use to go through the biggest massive change that feel like, the biggest mountain in front of you, feeling safe. The moment you feel unsafe, you're going to stop. That is when we go for distraction. You'll go on a vacation instead of filing for your divorce. You will start working towards getting a higher position in the same organization instead of leaving the organization. You will start looking for another therapist for your relationship instead of making the decision to end the relationship. You will start to do diet shopping instead of actually implementing a diet. So those are all the ways we distract ourselves when the fear shows up. I have no idea who I'll become when that shows up. We start to go in distraction because stepping into the unknown is just too unsafe. And there are very specific things I have used that I'm going to dive deep into now that has helped me feel safe within my body to make the shift. Now, you might have already learned a little bit about these tools, or these tools might be completely new to you. Wherever you are, write these down, practice them. You can go through anything having these in front of you. So, the first one is allowing yourself to feel the discomfort. Most of us, we run away at the first step. It's getting uncomfortable, let me do something else, because we don't want the discomfort. Why there is discomfort? Because what's happening, think of yourself as the Russian doll. So there's a big one, and then there's another one, then there's another one, all the way the very tiny one. Our goal in life is to get to the core one, that tiny one. That is your soul, that is your infinite endless light that lives within you. So usually what happens, we took off the lid and we take out another doll from it. We took off the lid, take another doll. But the way it works in your soul path, you gotta shatter the outside doll to get to the inner doll. So that's literally breaking of a shell that's around you to get to the next version of you. So let's say back in the day, I was married, it was pretty miserable. I knew that I needed to make the decision to leave the relationship, but it was familiar. I didn't know what will happen. I didn't like my biggest fear was to be alone for the rest of my life, and that fear held me in that space. So the day I made the decision, I shattered the outer one. I shattered the version of me that needed that comfort of familiarity. So now what happened? Now a vacuum is created. Now, for that time being, I have no idea who I am. I'm not the person who stayed in it because I decided to leave. Now, that vacuum, my friend, if you don't sit with that, if you don't feel that, that is the biggest, I would say, uh, what is the word? Well, I'll just say it this way. That is the biggest, I think, betrayal is the right word we do to ourselves when we are going through a change. It gets uncomfortable. We go to food, we go to drugs, we go to alcohol, we go to something else, but we don't feel that vacuum. But every magical thing exists in that vacuum. It's almost like you just entered a warehouse that's filled with every single thing that you could possibly have. And literally, in that vacuum, universe is waiting for you. It's like, it's waiting for you. What do you want? What do you want? And if I'm not standing there being a participant in my life, that I would like this, I would like that, I would like that, and I just stand at the door and maybe I'm busy checking my phone on my Instagram, it's like, someone is waiting there for your order. So the first thing I'm going to invite you to do if you're going through a discomfort, right now in your life, literally just sit down and feel it in your body. Don't write about it, don't intellectualize it, don't try to use positive psychology for it. Just feel where it lives in your body. That's all. Let's say you found it that it's in your legs. A lot of times, especially I have seen it with myself and so many people that I work with when we are going through divorce. It shows up in our legs. You'll have some kind of leg issues, knee issues, foot issues because it's forward movement. And especially if you're coming from a marriage where you were not the main earner in the family, then it's even more difficult because now your foundation needs to be renewed. Our feet are our foundation. When you feel it in your body, it's almost like you have entered the vacuum. When you have entered the vacuum, now you can just be present with that vacuum. And you'll start to feel, it's not that bad. I think I got it. Because another magical thing is going to happen. You're going to start to connect with your inner safety. We feel that I need to have X amount of money. What I was waiting for 5 years, I was waiting to have enough money either in my bank account or, left over after all the bills are paid to go for it. And universe have its own funny way of like, interfering with our plans. As soon as I got to that place where it was like, yes, we are financially good, I can make that decision. I lost that financial safety 2 months after that decision. And then I was forced to enter in that vacuum. Now you might have to sit with yourself every single day for next 2 years till you get to a different reality or a different way of being. I personally practice that every single day. I like to go into that inner vacuum within me. Whatever the day has been, I locate where it is, how I'm feeling. I like to go there. Sometimes it's lower back, sometimes it's my feet, sometimes it's my leg, sometimes it's my throat or my heart. I like to go there. That is a practice I have built. So one of the things I'll invite you, if you're really interested in feeling or inner safety or nurturing inner safety as a skill, get used to going inside your body and just be there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. 3 minutes is a really good place to start without your mind start, chattering away. So that is one of the things. If you're not going to feel into it, be present with it, you will be distracted. You're going to go with for another way of dealing with it. This is the healthy way of dealing with it. This is the way we are dealing with it, where you really step into the infinite. Now, the second one, um, one thing I wanted to mention, going into that place of discomfort, but don't bring any stories with yourself. So usually our stories are, why I'm still going through it at this age. I'm such a loser. I can never do anything right. My mom was right about me. None of the stories can come. That is the real skill. Go in your body, find where the discomfort is, be in that vacuum without the stories. Stories will come. Just pay attention to the vacuum, pay attention to the organ, pay attention to, for example, if for you it's in your womb area, just pay attention to what lives in my womb. Yes, my uterus is there, maybe my kidneys are close by, maybe my ovaries are there. How does it look? You're putting all your focus and attention to that instead of the stories that your mind is telling you. You're redirecting your thoughts. So that is very important. That was number one. Number two, if you can embody this, my friend, you are going to be the freest person ever. And this is what I used to go through all the biggest changes I have gone through. And I have gone through tremendous changes in the last 5 years for any human being, especially as a woman, and being able to keep a very calm nervous system throughout that. And that is giving yourself permission to make a mistake. Every fear comes from, I don't want to make a mistake. I want to do it right. And we all have a little bit of perfectionist and control, mechanism going on within us. We all have a different way we like to exercise control. The best way to exercise control is be in your body, be in the present moment. It's the easiest thing to say, and it is the most difficult skill to really hone into. I'm on the year two, just focusing on this one skill. I'm not working on anything else. The only thing I'm working on is how present can I be in this moment. And it is requiring me be more present into my body and in my heart. So if you can give yourself permission, you know what? I am going to make this mistake. Even though everything within me screams, don't do this. This is not going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for your kids. It's not going to be good for your family. Whatever that story is, deliberately go ahead and say, you know what? I'm going to make this mistake. When you give yourself permission to make this mistake, you know what you just did? You took a hammer and you broke that shell yourself. You said, you know what? Universe is squeezing me to break this shell. I'm going to do it myself. It is so powerful. And again, I understand, I have been through the path myself. It's not easy to do. It's not easy to give yourself permission to make a mistake, especially if you're a woman living in today's age and we have to be perfect. Our makeup needs to be perfect. Our clothes needs to be perfect. Our tonality has to be perfect. Our manners have to be perfect. Our jewelry needs to be perfectly matching. We need to match with our brand, right? No pressure. And here I am giving you advice. Go ahead and make a mistake. And if you're somebody who's new to this concept, start with small. Start with small. Next time when you park, don't park your car straight. Park it in a way where you ruin two parking spots and see how the perfectionist within you starts screaming at you. And just be in that space. This is, my friend, how we create inner authority, how we connect with that inner safety. Safety is not in your bank account. It's not who you're married to. It's not in how many kids you have and what schools they are going to, how big of a home you have. Safety is inside of you. When you have nurtured that, you can go back to it when you're going through some kind of expansion or a change. I created this safety as I was going through the change. I learned, oh, I'm not feeling safe. How can I feel safe? I can only feel safe by going inward. How do I go inward? These are the steps to go inward. Because a lot of people will tell you, oh, you just got to go inward. And that is the problem I had, my scientific mind had. And I was like, can you give me and a step-by-step process how to do it. So that is what I have created for you. First is feeling into that vacuum, finding that within you, and then giving yourself permission deliberately to make a mistake. Again, you can start small. Next time you cook, just leave the butter on the counter and let it go rancid and let it go wasted. Again, the perfectionist within you will scream, you're wasting food, this and that. You gotta let yourself make mistakes in life. If you really want to feel safe, make mistakes on demand. Don't wait till you find out that was a mistake. Go ahead and make it yourself. When I went through my divorce, this is what I told myself, Alia, it could be the biggest mistake of your life. Let's go ahead and do it. When I decided to be part of my ex's wedding, everybody who heard it thought I was completely crazy. I was completely out of my mind. I was creating a very specific life. I had a vision. I wanted specific things for my kid and for myself and also for his father. And that was harmony, the kind of harmony that my culture doesn't even know. Again, I sat with myself and I said, this might be the biggest mistake you're making. You might have a panic attack right there. Maybe everybody else would just look at you with weird eyes, but let's go ahead and make that mistake. Best decision of my life. I freed myself that day from all the cultural norms. When I was ready to get remarried, same thing. Let's make another mistake. When I was ready to release a very important relationship to me, same thing. Let's make another mistake. See how you connect with that inner authority. Instead of being afraid of what will happen, you go ahead and do it yourself. And I do understand it takes a lot of courage. Start small. I didn't go for these big things right away. I started small. I would leave dirty dishes in my sink. I would let my home be dirty and just look at it. And, that inner perfectionist is screaming at me, clean it, clean it, clean it. I won't. When that critic will completely pass, I'll just get up and that is when I'll clean. So you got to watch what's going on within you and override that mechanism with your own will. Will comes from your soul. That is not your body consciousness. And if you're not practicing will, your body's running your life. And my friend, your body's going to go for whatever feels the shiniest or the juiciest. It's not going to go for what you're here to do. It's not going to go for let's reveal the maximum light. So now moving to number three, and that is staying in curiosity. When we are afraid, I have no idea what will happen. Staying into, I wonder who I'll become. I wonder what will happen. When I got deeper into, I would say, connecting with my soul, and I started hearing in my meditation, remember who you are, it literally felt like I'm in a dark room and the lights are off. It was a complete 2 years of unknown. I have no idea who I was. I had no idea who I'm becoming, but I stayed in, I wonder who I'll become. I wonder who I'll become. So when you bring that, I wonder who I'll become if I leave this relationship, if I write that book, if I create that business that I just desire. I wonder who I'll become, because the joy of life is not the achievement, my friend. We are brainwashed and conditioned to go after achievement. That is not the joy. The joy is the process, who you become. My biggest achievement is not, I have literally, I'm experiencing heaven on earth. I've gone from being the most self critical and most miserable and most negative thinking person to a person who's present and who get to experience heaven on earth. That's not my achievement. My achievement is who I became in the process. I became a free woman. And coming from where I come from, that is a big shift. That is what I enjoy. That is what I'm so proud of. That no one can come and manipulate and guilt trip me, shame me into doing something. I am my own authority. And if you do come from a similar background, you can realize what I'm like, that's better than getting a double doctorate or something. Who we become is important. So when you stay present with, I wonder who I'm becoming, you're present with yourself, my friend. That is your inner safety. You're reassuring yourself in every single moment, hey, I am with you. I don't know where we are going to end up. I don't know where we are going. I don't know how we are going to get there, but I am here with you, cheering you on. I wonder who I'll become. That brings such a deep sense of inner safety within you because you're sending yourself a message. I have not abandoned yourself. It's not other people loyalty that we need. Your nervous system does not need the love of your life, who's going to pamper you, who's going to let you stay home, he's going to be the breadwinner, and all you'll do is sit there and go to spa treatment. That is not what is going to bring safety to your nervous system. Even though I feel like, that is what Instagram reels show. What's going to bring safety to your nervous system is your loyalty to yourself, your unconditional love for yourself. How we are going to build it? We build it when we are present with ourselves, when we say, hey, I'm here. I know this is a difficult moment and I'm going to stick with you. Let's go through it together. I'm going to be curious. I wonder who we will become. That is one of the inner dialogue I use with myself all the time. And I go through a growth spurt, my friend, sometime every 2 weeks because of the deeper work that I do and the multiple mentor that I work with. Sometimes it's every 2 months. I just went through a huge jump in November that completely shifted my identity and title. I went through another huge jump just about 2, 3 weeks ago. I have no idea who I'm becoming, but I stay with myself. I wonder who I'll become. So just that little trick or tip is going to keep you in the present moment, keep you in the body, keep you present with yourself, and keep a very positive inner dialogue. And your nervous system is going to exhale when you stay with it. So the next one we're going to get into is going to help you start making more mistakes. And that is a universal law. And that is something which is we are not taught. We are conditioned against it, and our parents are the biggest people who condition us against it, especially if you're a woman living in today's age. And that is when you do something and you think it's a mistake. When we live with, this is the right decision and that is the wrong decision. When we live with that, the truth of the universe is there's no such thing. Whether you go right, whether you go left, the universe is going to readjust itself to wherever you're going because you're the creator of your own mini universe. Now, that is something we are not taught. We are told always do the right thing, make the safe choices. This is the right thing to do as a woman, especially like there's a lot come with the identity of just being a woman. But the truth is, whether I go right, whether I go left, universe is going to meet me. It's literally going to change the path. Just like a GPS, this is not a new concept, my friend. Your GPS tells you, so I'm in North Jersey, I'm going to talk in North Jersey conversation. If I am going to upstate New York, I can take Route 17. I can go from 287. I can take Palisade Parkway. Depending on which way I go, GPS is going to give me a new direction. If I'm 15 minutes on Route 17, it's not going to say, no, 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 Alia, you need to take an exit, make a U-turn, go back to your home, and then take the other route. It doesn't do that. That's exactly how universe works. And if this is something you're learning for the first time, I'll say just sit there and repeat to yourself over and over. how wonderful it is that universe matches my footsteps. We are not the servants of the universe. We are not the, slaves of the divine, and we are not slaves of our soul. We are the divine. Life happens through you. So, very quickly, since I got on this tangent, I'm going to share this concept with you. I think I have shared it in one of the previous conversations. So, there are four ways you can experience life. One is life is happening to me. Why this marriage is breaking? Oh my God, I'm so miserable. That is the victim place. Most of us, I can guarantee or assume, who are either watching this or not there. We are a little bit in the space. Um, Life is happening for me, right? Everything that is happening, it is expanding something within me. It's a level of initiation. Every squeeze is here to bring more light out of me. And again, that is not, my friend, just like, let's put a positive whitewasher on everything. Those are the literal principle of the universe. We go through a whole pregnancy as women, very, very painful. And at the end, we have a beautiful child. So everything is happening for me, is like every squeeze or every difficult situation I am going through, there's something beautiful on the other side. And I would say, to me, that is, I get to experience my soul or my soul's light on a higher level with every squeeze that I go through. Um, the third one is, um, life is happening through me. And I messed up what I said before. I will tell you the fourth one. Life is happening through me, which is, I'm going to be channel of the light. I'm going to do God's work. I'm going to bless these people with forgiveness. I'm going to bless myself with forgiveness. So it is through me. Light comes through me, goes into the world. A lot of us are striving towards that. The last one is life happens from me. I say and it happens. That is the ultimate level of truly stepping into what it means to be a human, which is an expression of the divine, manifestation of the divine in the physical form. And that is what I'll invite all of us. That is something I'm striving to work on. I'm going to start with a new mentor who can help me connect more with that, because I keep going back to life is happening through me. It is, I have tasted what it feels like when life happens from me. When I look at something, it seems impossible. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make it happen. And when I see that come through, I just went through something where it took me 5 months to create that reality. When it came through, it feels fulfilling. It's not what I achieved, it's not what I went through, or like, all the other beautiful moments, but that feels fulfilling because for those 5 months, I had to tune into my soul fully. There was no other option. Now, that is the truth of your existence. Now, when you step into, even for a millisecond, life happens from me, there's no unknown. There's no fear of the unknown. There's no fear of the expansion. You're going through a difficult moment right now. Write down how you want it to unfold over the next 12 months. What is the story you want to write? And then read that story to yourself every single day and see what happens. This is exactly how I created my divorce. This is how I created the post divorce thing. I wrote down this is how it's going to be. And it's so fascinating to see how true it was word to word when it came true. So two practices that I want to leave you with. Uh, these are, I would say, visceral practices that are going to, if you forget everything else that we talked about, if that was too much, just take these two. One is, write down how you want the story to end. Don't wait for when I get the job, when I get this, when I get that. No, don't wait for that. write your story yourself and then read it to yourself every single day. If you get tired of reading it, take a break, then read it again, then rewrite it, create tweaks in it. That's one aspect of it. And the second aspect is finding safety within your body. So now this is a little different than what we talked about, where you know, go into your body and you're like, where's this fear living? And you just stay there in that vacuum space. Now, this is finding your inner authority that already exists within you. Because our human body is also connected with the 10-dimensional aspect of the creator, or you can say 10 emanation of the light. Our body is not just a random thing that got created. So within your body, there is a spot that is your foundation. It's already there. You can take any decision from that place, from a very calm place, and you can go through any conversation while you're present in that space, and you can do any big projects, whatever, being in that place. While you're working on naturally be connected with your inner safety or inner authority, use this in that time being. And that, my friend, is your womb. It's our sexual organs. And being in your uterus, you can do it right now with me, or you can do it, whenever you have time available. Just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and go down into your body, down, down, down. Imagine you are in your pelvic area. Now go inside your uterus. And if you got hysterectomy done, your energetical uterus is still there, my friend. It didn't go anywhere. So enter into your uterus and be there. And feel how it feels to be there. And now bring the same problem that you're going through, whether it's a divorce, whether it's a change in your health, change in your relationship, whether it was the big scary news or the letter that you read yesterday, and experience that moment again while being present in your uterus. I can guarantee you're going to have a different visceral response than you did when you were not present in your uterus. That is connected to the dimension of foundation. I know when we work in the energy healing, we use our basic chakra as the root chakra, or the sex chakra sometimes use that, but go inside the organ. That is where the energy is attached to. That is where you're going to access a part of you that is endless. It doesn't need to have a plan. It doesn't need to comply with the logic. It can just be. And that is what any change connects us to. So I'm just going to very quickly recap. We learned today how to feel safe while you're expanding, which could be a life change. It could be on demand, or it could be like, you got hit on the head with a coconut, which I did from the universe. We feel unsafe because it challenges that part of us that likes to feel in control. And change is a complete loss of control. It's stepping into the unknown. And when you are present with that feeling in your body without the stories, when you give yourself permission to make mistakes, when you stay in curiosity, one of the things I forgot to mention, when you're in curiosity, your heart is wide open. When your heart is wide open, that means you have the access to your soul bank account and you can withdraw as much as you want. And later on, one of the class, I'm going to teach about my own experience, or it might go out as a post, being in that moment where you get way more than you expected. And then remembering that universe is always readjusting to your direction. It's not the other way around, because you are that powerful. And then we talked about two practices. One of them is writing down how you want the story to go. I practiced 3 years writing. So 3 years ago, I wrote exactly how my life is going to be. And then after 3 years, I redo it. And what I have seen it comes through like 80 to 90%. And then I know, oh, this 10%, I still am working through identity shift or whatever, you know, unconscious beliefs that are holding me back. So I know what to work on next. And then I create another 3 years. And my friend, that definitely worked. That is how I create my life. And if somebody is talking to me and they start to tell me, like, all these things about their own fears or how they're afraid and worried about me, I just tell them, hey, I create my own life. Period. You don't need to worry about me. I create my own life. I'm in control of that because I have practiced it so much that I am convinced at this point. So you got to practice it to really believe it. And the last thing we talked about, connecting with that inner safety and authority with your root right now that already exists, and that is your womb, your uterus. Don't go to the ovaries. Don't go to the, vaginal canal. Don't go to the cervix. Go inside the uterus. Because one of the most beautiful thing is it already has a vacuum in it for a reason. Because new life can be created inside of it. You see the correlation? Anytime you're going through something, you're creating something new, and we need to be in the vacuum. One of my most favorite thing to do when I'm having one of those overwhelming moments, I close my eyes and I imagine I am sitting on the floor of my uterus and I just stay there. It's the most blissful feeling because everything, every thought, every worry, every fear just melts away. And the reason it melts away because it is our foundation. From there, we can create anything. So, with that, we are coming to an end for today's conversation, today's workshop. If you're ready to go deeper, please go to my website, algiajamalcoaching.com. You can book a consultation. If you have any question, please use any social media channel that we are connected to send in your question. I would love to answer them and get you a place where you feel more safe no matter what you're going through. So I'm sending you so much love. Bye.